As far as kind of the pros, right, or what are the bonuses of this partnership, it seems like a match made in heaven, right? It's trying to make things a lot easier, simplify really that DeFi landscape that we talk about all the time. That's pretty daunting, pretty confusing. How do we make this as easy as possible and roll out this, these aspects and these things to as many users as possible?
Welcome back to another episode of WagMe TV. Today we want to talk about the big news around the partnership between Moonpay and Bitpay. And hopefully this will be able to simplify a lot of crypto transactions that happen on those platforms. To dive into it, let's hand it over to Sia, where he can give a quick overview of the big news.
Yeah, great intro, Ev. So really quickly, for those of you that aren't familiar, basically what went down just in the last 24 hours or so is Bitpay partnered with Moonpay. Bitpay, you can kind of consider them, they've been around since 2011. You can kind of consider them more of the kind of PayPal, the original PayPal of crypto. So you can swap, store, and send and receive Bitcoin and other crypto assets, but you can't sell crypto assets. It's not an exchange. It's not linked to any exchanges. There's no way to actually meet with a market maker on that software. So that's where Moonpay comes in. So Moonpay is a fintech company that connects with Web3 and allows you to swap crypto, sell crypto, buy crypto, and basically handle it how you would on a Web3 wallet. So combining these two, they're really looking to make the ease of use between both of them as smooth as possible, because Moonpay is kind of missing some of what Bitpay has, and Bitpay is kind of missing what some of Moonpay has. And what's interesting is, and I wasn't aware of this before diving a little bit deeper, is that Bitpay is actually quite heavily used, being around since 2011. And there's actually folks that are paying their mortgage on Bitpay using Bitcoin. So pretty much any mortgage lender, at least according to Bitpay, will actually work with Bitpay app to actually pay a mortgage in crypto. So they're pretty well diversified in terms of what they actually allow and who they can work with. Their crypto payments have spanned luxury cars, luxury goods, electronics, and more. And they've actually seen payments rise between January and March of this year, up 20% in crypto spending on these different assets. So we're not only seeing consumers use crypto and other assets to buy goods more and more. It's also going to be now easier with Bitpay partnering up with Moonpay, so that if you're using Bitpay, you can actually sell your crypto assets as opposed to having to swap them. So right now, if you are using Bitpay before the Moonpay partnership, you'd actually have to swap your crypto or convert it into Bitcoin or USDC, as opposed to just selling it straight up for cash. So that's kind of the overview, but any thoughts on this, guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot to be bullish about with that, right? I mean, I know Moonpay has a specific partnership directly with PayPal as well, right? And so there might be some concerns on the crypto front when it comes to that partnership, right? I know there was a freeze on, pulling any sort of crypto out at one point. I'm not sure exactly where that went from there. So something that we could probably dive a little bit deeper into. But I think as far as kind of the pros, right, or what are the bonuses of this partnership, it seems like a match made in heaven, right? It's trying to make things a lot easier, simplify really that DeFi landscape that we talk about all the time. That's pretty daunting, pretty confusing. How do we make this as easy as possible and roll out this, these aspects and these things to as many users as possible, right? So then the question from that becomes, does this drive more transactions and adoption? Doesn't really float all boats on the crypto side, right? If we can get more people utilizing the systems without even necessarily knowing that they're using them, right? I think on the downside of this, it's just, I mean, I kind of found pretty limited details on what this partnership actually does, right? It's kind of unclear exactly how they're simplifying the transactions, how it'll work, are there any fees involved, that sort of thing. And then, of course, kind of like I was mentioning before, right? Regulation, right? Regulation surrounding crypto can be pretty complex. Obviously, there were some things going on with PayPal. We know recently there's things going on with Robinhood when it comes to crypto. So it's going to be important to see how this partnership navigates that, and really what the mechanics of the partnership looks like as a whole. But at the end of the day, right, anything that makes things easier I think is a bonus for the space. So definitely interesting to learn about, and excited to hear a little bit more.
Yeah, I feel like always a big consideration from the end user side is those fees moving out of your crypto assets into a fiat currency like the US dollar to be able to pay those bills. There is a lot of fees in that process just to be able to pay with a fiat currency. So, like you said, if these fees are low enough, you could really see that helping the end user in, mitigating or minimizing the amount of different transactions that have to happen just to make that one end transaction pay your mortgage, your luxury goods, like everything you were saying, Sia. So yeah, definitely very interesting, and I think something we should watch in the future.
Absolutely. I think you both had great points on that. I think something that you both have alluded to before in other episodes is really what's going to lead to the wide scale consumer adoption of Web3 platforms is if they can get onboarded essentially without them even noticing. And it's just a natural part of the consumer cycle, right? And you guys have alluded to that. But I think, if it's as easy to get onto these platforms as it is to like a Venmo or like some of these other apps that have kind of become, staples, I think that's kind of where this type of partnership could shine. So we'll definitely be covering this more and more. If we hear more updates, obviously these types of partnerships, I think is what's going to help kind of drive some more consumer adoption of crypto. So we'll keep tabs on it, keep the WagMe community updated. And if you guys got value out of this, definitely drop a comment. If you know more about it than we've been able to find, please drop that in the comments as well. But like and subscribe if you found value, and we'll keep you guys updated. So until next week, WagMe.